Ah, yes, YouTube. It's a part of all of our lives. How do I know this? Well, you're watching this video right now, so yeah, of course it is. Some people, well, they even make a living off of it. So of course, it only makes perfect sense to be able to watch YouTube on literally everything. And the best sort of everything is stupid, silly Nintendo console. So I'm going to try to watch a YouTube video on every single Nintendo console this is possible on. I will give a quick shout out to the Play-Yan. This came out on the Game Boy Advance SP around the same time when YouTube launched around 2005-2006. You can watch video files in a very specific odd format to play these back. Hey, you can't really do a whole lot about this, but hey, at least I can watch Scott the Woz and Shrek using GBA video. With that being said, let's hop right into it and start off with the 3DS. Alright, so YouTube launched on the 3DS in late 2014, fall 2014. I specifically remember when this launched because I remember how hyped I was because, like, come on, guys. It's YouTube on the 3DS. Hence, it's funny we're using a red 3DS, so even more fitting in that case, but YouTube on the 3DS. People are finally starting to realize just how immaculate this system is. It's like, I don't need to realize that. I've realized that for years. I've years realized how just amazing this system is. And I've been dedicated to it since launch year, and I come back all the time with this device, checking out just all sorts of games that I can't believe that I have either not beaten, have missed, or want to replay, because there is just like tons of stuff. I would say the 3DS is like my ideal system when it comes to just playing games, maybe even accessing media as well. So YouTube, yeah, I remember when this launched in the system, it had just all sorts of bugs and glitches, and there was like a Did You Know Gaming video I watched on there. I think it was A Link to the Past, something relating to that. That was my first video I saw, and it was just so awesome. Now, why exactly does this matter, YouTube being on the 3DS? Well, as someone who didn't have access to a smartphone and also had a pretty crappy computer, granted, I had the Wii U to check out YouTube on, but, well, the Wii U is not exactly much of a system to portably bring. I mean, yeah, you could use the gamepad, but it's like, this was just so cool being able to use this system anywhere. And also, mind the dust before people comment saying, oh, you haven't used it a while. This system doesn't actually work. This is my first system, but I took the battery out because it expanded. Rest in peace. But I'll be sure to get you a new battery someday. But yeah, no. This was really cool to be able to have YouTube on this, because you could go, anywhere, especially someone like me at the time, to where you could finally watch YouTube videos. I don't know, you can go to your local McDonald's or something. Like, who remembers using Nintendo Zone to watch Pokemon while eating a Happy Meal? I do. That was like some of the best memories, like as a kid, just watching the Pokemon Black and White anime using Nintendo Zone. And when I finally got YouTube on here, like, that opened the floodgates. Like, granted, like, you can't really just watch Pokemon, maybe back then, because it was a lot more, Nintendo was a bit more lenient with uploads. Nowadays, but I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole anyways, but no, the floodgates were open when you had YouTube, and it was awesome being able to do this. But when this launched, like, there was all sorts of bugs and glitches, and like, just the app would crash constantly, but I didn't care. I was watching YouTube on my 3DS, my red 3DS, and I was happy about watching YouTube on my system. And I was just ecstatic, keeping up with all the YouTubers I like to watch, and all that kind of fun stuff, all the videos, looking up any sorts of video I wanted about any game I liked at the time, be it Nintendo or Steam or something. And it was just amazing to be able to do that. However, we're not going to be checking it on this system. We're going to be checking it out on a system that actually works, my main 3DS, that we'll boot up and see what all kinds of fun stuff there is with this. Anyway, so if you go over to the app, you get to hear the sound it makes. I don't know if necessarily that is the YouTube sound for, like, this is like the sound effect that's programmed to be YouTube. But honestly, it does, it sounds very YouTube. It does. I honestly think it does. If this is like a default sound or something. I didn't think there was a default sound. There is for the Wii U for startup applications, but hey, it's awesome to see that's the case. Let's boot it up and let's check out YouTube. All right, so once we get into YouTube, yeah, so the service has been discontinued. It was removed in 2019. There probably is some way to like mod and stuff like that to be able to use still. It's interesting how it just continuously, loops to saying the service is discontinued. I wonder if like once the servers have actually been taken offline completely, if it's just gonna say an error has occurred instead of saying this service has been discontinued. But yeah, no, but that's not to say though that we can't actually watch YouTube on our system. In fact, Nintendo says something interesting about this to this day that you'll see what I know. And I knew this without even saying anything. But yeah, this is in 2019. So we're gonna try another method to see if this works. And yeah, let's go at it then. All right. So if we go into the internet browser, if you click on a video, you have to do this in Google. You will see, and this is one of my videos here. It's saying my browser's outdated though, but I'm still gonna proceed to YouTube. And we see a black screen here. However, you click that black screen. Once we let it load for a little bit. Check it out. It's still working. And here's my Pizza Tower, or I should say, the Indie Dev Pizza Tower inspired, or excuse me, Indie Dev inspired by Wario Land video. It's called if Nintendo won't do it, the Indie Devs will. I don't know why this video did so bad. Probably because people don't really care about Wario Land. They're probably sick of Pizza Tower, but we're not going to go on a huge, Rampart rant there, I got to say. But hey, check it out. This works. And there should also be 3D video works as well. There's some different settings you can do to get it to work. I never really understood this completely. Oh, look, guys, we can watch my video as if we're on the Virtual Boy. Wow, yeah, I miss VGB Wario, and isn't that cool? Or we can get it, to be on the Cyan Boy. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty freaking cool. You can also mess with 3D video and stuff like that. You can speed up the video using the C stick and stuff, slow it down if you wanted to, like a crawl in a sense. You can enable loop, so if we went to the if you want to listen to music on here, hey, you need an MP3 player for stuff like that, well then, there you go. It does take a little bit to buffer and load when it comes to everything. End cards and cards and stuff won't appear while doing stuff like this. It's going to be a little weird because this is an end card area I made right there. But hey, check it out. It looped. It's working. I don't know why it screwed up right there. And you can still watch on your... I do wonder when this will be removed. You can also do a little bit of a zoom right here if you wanted. If you couldn't see very well. It's not too much of a zoom, but it is. And you can watch 3D videos. Can the Wii U do that? I think not. This is exactly why the 3DS is phenomenal. This is such an amazing system. You can still watch YouTube videos. New 3DS, of course, which I understand why it's better in that case. But there probably is some mods out there to get the original one working. Once again in this video, we are trying to do things without mods. We're doing things officially. It still works in 2025. You can watch YouTube videos on your new Nintendo 3DS. So that's pretty freaking cool. I get to watch myself still on my favorite system. It's very surreal, seeing that, and watch whoever else I want as well. You could do this right now too if you go out there and do the trick I was saying about how you gotta... it's gonna be all glitchy and stuff. You gotta search the video you want on Google, and then you click proceed to YouTube, and then you click the black area. And then it'll just load it just like that. So, all right, let's move on to the next system then. All right, we are now at the Wii, and thank goodness for classic controllers. I hate using the sensor bar, especially when you have to use GameCube games. Like, come on, like. You shouldn't need to use a freaking remote to be able to access GameCube games. I remember I had a stream one time where I wasn't able to do that because I didn't have a freaking Wii remote with me, and I had to cancel it. And I think I just had to make do with what I had, which I don't think was... I don't even remember, but I like how they're talking about Nintendo Direct from 2013. Man, that's crazy. Speaking of what's crazy is also Netflix. That I don't know. That could be copyrighted. You got to be careful. But All right, so I actually had to go through 3 different Wiis. This is the 3rd Wii I'm on because my I don't have YouTube downloaded still. From what I understand, they did revive the Wii Shop channel, which, funny enough, when I made that video, that was totally, I don't follow trends, stuff like that. It just so happens that the Wii Shop channel video I made, they just revived the Wii Shop channel, like, you know, homebrew, third-party stuff, that kind of fun stuff. And it was just, like, perfectly timed. Like, I just got lucky with that case, and it got... I wouldn't say it blew up per se, but it got more views than my channel usually does, so that was awesome to see. But I was thankful because I checked all my Wiis, none of them had YouTube on them except for this one. I got this one just kind of randomly recently. Also, yes, has the same sound for the 3DS, so I guess YouTube commissioned this sound effect specifically for Nintendo consoles and stuff like that, or I guess just applications in general. Let me know actually fun facts if you know anything about this tune, the tune that plays right here when you open this up. It feels a little surreal hearing this on the Wii since I remember this for the 3DS, but I guess Nintendo or YouTube actually was doing like a full force kind of overhaul to be able to reach out to other areas, consoles, you know, such as this. But man, look how generic that looks. It feels so early 2000s. Like I understand it did come out in 2006. The Wii came out the same year as that. Unfortunately, yes. So the connection was terminated with this. Now there is ways to be able to still watch YouTube videos on your Wii and stuff like that. But you have to download them, and it's not really official, so we're here to do things officially. So unfortunately, YouTube on the Wii has been null and voided. I believe this was ceased in like 2022. I could be wrong about this, but it definitely kept going until after the shutdown of the Wii online, which I don't know. It's always a tragedy when Nintendo has to shut stuff down like that. But actually, you know, I want to try something. Let's check out the internet channel. I want to see how feasible this is. Opera powered. Wow, man. That's pretty freaking neat. I kind of doubt you'll be able to watch a YouTube video through this, but I just want to check it out. I think the last time I was on the internet browser for the Wii was like a good, like, while ago, and I cannot use a classic controller. Wow, that's not cool. Thanks, Nintendo. Or Opera, maybe? Who should I be blaming? Both? Alright, so the Wii U, YouTube launched on the Wii U on this specific date on screen. But what is neat is you could also watch videos through the internet browser. Now, I never was really a huge fan of the app personally. I remember there was someone on Miiverse who criticized me when I was friends with them through my friends list. They're like, oh, why are you playing, you know, the internet browser? I just preferred the internet browser because the app always had issues. And funny enough, we're going to get to that even more to this day. It still lives up to that, in a sense. You'll see what I mean here in a bit. But, you know, the the YouTube app, because my mind's on that Animal Crossing app I was just checking out for a second, because that's really neat. But the YouTube app, it wasn't great launching. It got better later on. I did check it out, but, like, it was not good on, like, slower internet speeds. And, like, nowadays, you know, fiber is, like, everywhere. But back then, it wasn't. So, you know, and the Wii U didn't have great speeds to begin with, so it's going to chug even more if you don't have, like, good internet, because it's just bad to begin with if you have less of a buffer. But anyways, we're going to hop right into the YouTube app and see what this is all about. I remember this is, like, the default startup sound for, like, any app that doesn't have, like, its own startup sound. Minecraft, I remember, would do this. I believe Google Street would, although I probably could check that out because you can at least still launch the application. Not like you can't use it, of course, but oh wow, an error has occurred. And so actually this app, if you couldn't tell, yes, gotta love it when cameras decide to malfunction. Also when the tripod, I guess, decides to be lopsided too, but whatever. I guess not like I'm gonna have the gamepad screen on too much, but yeah, no, it doesn't work anymore. Even though it just says error has occurred, XYZ, there's not really a whole lot to that. So yeah, you can't watch YouTube using the app anymore. And this is actually what I was alluding to where it is, well, not reliable because they shut it down. But I am curious. Let's see how the internet browser goes about. Let's see how that fares. This was always a really cool feature I liked. because you could watch videos and multitask. You could watch videos and look things up on the web and stuff. Now, granted, the internet has evolved by a lot in the last decade, over the last decade, so it's going to make it a lot more challenging as a result. But I am curious. Let me see if anything's going to even load up to begin with. Let's see. Is Twitter going to get... Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, so how about the official Pokemon website? It's loading. It's doing some stuff. You know, it's still working. That's kind of neat. And it looks like what, like 240p, maybe 480p goodness. I know you could also do this thing with the internet browser. You could close the curtains, make it like, you know, spectacular or something. And then imagine like putting something, I don't know, like funny on the screen or something when it does that. But yeah, you can close the curtains, which is nice. That's always liked about the Wii U, was it had a lot of privacy to where, like, if someone tried to see what you were doing, you could do this, and it was just, I don't know, like, this is the kind of thing, like, after doing it enough, like, it just really felt like almost as if, like, it was, like, just burned into your brain whenever you, like, shut those curtains. Like, you press this button, even though you don't hear it, you'd hear the sound in your head. Like, it's one of those, like, almost like you can hear those GIFs kind of feels to it, but always hard to get those spotlights in the center. But anyways, so you can see the internet browser is clearly working still. Good to know that I can at least access the Pokemon website. Granted, it probably, I don't know how much is going to function. I mean, hey, I can read stuff on here, but our latest Pokemon baseball team. I didn't even know that was something that was happening. There was a Pokemon baseball team, but okay, that's kind of neat. Yeah, no, but now let's actually check out a YouTube video. All right, so Google really isn't working a whole lot, but something I do want to try, because this is something interesting, is I do have some bookmarks on some very old videos. Like a shout out to Swimming Bird 941, because this is someone I used to be inspired by, for Let's Plays, I should say. I still have, you know, those videos bookmarked. I'm having a heck of a time using Google to work on this, probably because, you know, everything's updated and the Wii U hasn't updated. Nintendo doesn't have a reason to, besides, you know, bricking crackers and stuff like that. But so I want to try something, because the video is showing up here. It's looking a little screen torn. But if we tap... Okay. See, if you tap that... Oh, there is an ad playing. Okay, that's not something I exactly expected. I didn't know ads could still play through this. That's interesting that YouTube still has that, even though this is kind of a method that it really wouldn't work a whole lot. But, man, yeah, look at that. 240p good is great that this is a 3DS game that was, you know, captured and now is on a 480p screen. But this is neat. It's working right here. We're watching YouTube right now. Now, of course, the only way to really do this is you have to exactly search the thing on the search engine. It probably works best if you have the URL you could input, you know, up top here. That would be a whole process, though, because YouTube videos these days are, you know, like that. But let's say you wanted to multitask, though. Like, I don't know, let's say you want to check, I don't know, the Fire Emblem wiki while we... Okay, well, I guess that's not going to work. I don't know, let's say we want to check out another video. Let's say we want to check out another video. You can, you know, do that, browse the web, and, you know, still have, you know, this kind of stuff going on. You can make multiple tabs as well. You can do, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. Let's say we want to go to the Pokemon website, because I know that at least worked, so we'll do that again. You know, while we're waiting for the Pokemon website to load, we can just, you know, oh, we're still watching this video right here. And there's not really a whole lot of, you know, ton of settings when it comes to the Wii U. I do specifically remember that... that when it comes to the Wii U browser, I remember it would sometimes freeze the Wii U console. I remember that still would happen, though, even after, like, you know, after the update happened. But what I think I do remember specifically as well was I used the Wii U a lot. As someone who didn't really have access to a computer a lot, or I should say a good computer back then that didn't, like, freeze up for, like, 5+ minutes trying to do anything on there, even though I had decent internet. This was immaculate. Sure, the Wii U wasn't great, but you gotta understand the options that maybe compared to everything else, this was nice, I gotta say. This was a whole lot nicer than dealing with some kind of BS, you know, such as what I'm exactly talking about. And this was cool because, you know, you could hide yourself from other people. You could have fun with the gamepad all you want. And yeah, I know the gamepad battery wasn't the greatest, but I remember I could like go to another room in the house I was at and just, you know, check out Wii U on there, have a whole lot of fun watching videos, conversing with people on Miiverse. The Wii U was really like a penultimate media box, and there was just so many great memories of just watching YouTube on the Wii U. I used this for years. I'm pretty sure I definitely used this for years. I'm gonna say like the Wii U was my main device for watching videos all the way from 2013. I would say up to 2016. Actually, maybe even 2015. Actually, because we'll get into something here a little bit later on what kind of changed that. But YouTube came out in the 3DS in 2014, so that kind of alleviated things. But I still liked the Wii U because it was definitely something that I used for, you know, the first year, a couple of years. And I think because of the Wii U, that's what got me into YouTube overall. And I got to just watch, you know, tons of videos on the Wii U gamepad. Tell me down below. Shoutouts to people who watched videos on the Wii U. I'm pretty sure when the YouTube app launched as well, it didn't have what do you call it? It didn't have the ability to watch videos on the gamepad, and I remember just how sluggish and slow that was as a result. So that was nothing that really interested me all that much as a result. You know, less the reason to use the app. And now that the app doesn't work, and, you know, this still works, granted it barely does, you got to do some crazy rigmarole with typing in URLs and using Google that barely even works at all, the search engine. It's more like a search engine than Google. Because Nintendo, I thought, did some like weird update where they like changed the search engine and stuff. But yeah, no. Yeah, I'm really happy to see this still works, considering this was a big part of my childhood. And I'm sure there was someone out there as well. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that had a Wii U. And I think that's the next question. Even though everyone I know had a Wii U, I speak to, it seems, did they use the internet browser to watch YouTube? That's what I want to know. And, you know, if you haven't, well, you can now if you wanted. Because I'm telling you about this. But I will say, though, maybe expect crashes and stuff like this. I should say a fair warning that it could crash and stuff like that. Granted, the Wii U likes to crash a lot. It's not the most stable system. I know people have said about things with, like, you know, chips and stuff like that, but it's like, yeah, no, this is awesome to see that you can still watch YouTube through the Wii U. That's, you know, imagine, you know, having a game console to still watch, you know, YouTube. Granted, there's PlayStation, all that stuff out there now, but it's like, this might have to be like the best experience. Now, granted, you know, the web browser isn't the most reliable, but you might have to say this might be like one of the best experiences for watching YouTube on a console in this day and age. The fact that you can still somewhat multitask and, you know, watch YouTube videos while you're trying to browse the internet in this very failed bot state, because the Pokemon website hates people and likes to say everyone is a bot, even though I'm not a bot. I'm trying to make a YouTube video here. So thanks, Pokemon Company. But all right, I definitely say we could think this as a success. The fact that we can watch YouTube videos on the Wii U. Yeah, and I have to say it's still one of my favorites to watch videos to this day, especially with the multitasking ability. All right, so the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, of course, as of right now anyways, before the Switch 2 comes out, we don't exactly know what exactly the backwards compatibility is going to be with that, but I think it is probably safe to assume YouTube app will still work on Switch 2, since Nintendo would rather not, like, kill off everything and just keep things going as time goes on. But it's a completely understandable approach. But yeah, YouTube launched on the Switch in 2018, over a year and a half about when it came out, once the Switch came out, because it was March 3rd when that released in 2017. That's pretty crazy, considering that the 3DS, well, it took it a little while, a couple years. The Wii U essentially launched, but the Wii got YouTube, like, right when the Wii U was coming out in 2012, so yeah, I feel like it took a little longer than it should. The Switch, I don't know what it is with Nintendo, but it's just like they like taking a long time with a lot of their stuff. Like, we look at freaking themes. Themes aren't even, like, you know, ready and raring to go. But meanwhile, Nintendo's doing whatever the heck Nintendo wants to do. Surprisingly, I haven't really used this a whole lot, but if we boot right into YouTube, it will, well, do YouTube things. You can't use the capture button. I can try that when we boot into here. Yeah, unable to take a capture now. However, because I'm a funny YouTuber, I have a capture card, and we can exploit that feature. Whoa, protected content. Your TV or monitor may not support. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So we can't actually do anything because it's funny at me flexing about me being a content creator. We can't do anything. I'd rather use signed out. Thank you very much. Oh, they're still gonna yell at me. Oh, protected content. I can't record. Pop in, watch some sort of video on here because this is my channel. I don't know why they're freaking screaming about like, oh, you can't watch anything. It looks like I'm finding a way to exploit that though. Whether or not I can watch a YouTube video. Oh, we're gonna see an ad now, I guess. Uh-oh. It's funny because I literally saw the same ad on the Wii U as well. I'm not hearing any audio though, but it's like, yeah, keep screaming at me. I'm just gonna keep abusing this. Let me skip it. Let me skip it. Come on. Okay, we're watching my YouTube video right here. It's gonna yell at me any second again about saying, oh, protected content XYZ, when it's like, it's really not hard for people nowadays to use any sort of be an OBS to record anything or anything. But hey, we at least were able to watch a YouTube video through this. I probably could have, gotten things out with the camera again and hooked up the Switch and desktop or portable mode. I forget what the heck. Someone can correct me that. The Nintendo has the worst names ever. Like Nintendo Switch Online. Now they're calling GameCube stuff Nintendo Classics. Why did it take you 8 years to name that? Or I guess 7, because this. I don't know. It's better not to question what Nintendo does, but hey, we did it. We watched YouTube on here, so. Yay, congratulations, give them a medal, guys, all that fun stuff. But yeah, with that being said then, so what we learned today, we can definitely watch YouTube on a good chunk of Nintendo's systems still. Not the Wii, which, yeah, you guess you can hack and stuff like that, but it's like, it technically is more like a play-in thing, because you gotta, extract files and stuff, but it's like, I'm talking about the streaming stuff, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. But I think that begs the question is, will Nintendo eventually one day make it so that way you have to, I don't know, YouTube. Will YouTube one day make it so that way there will be freaking, HDCP piracy protection on their website because they're doing this crazy crap with ad block? That's probably a whole different wormhole conspiracy theory, and then again, I think is entirely possible. Then I could probably talk about in a whole different video, but that really wouldn't be Nintendo related now, would it be? But yeah, with that being said, then go out there, check out your favorite YouTube videos on any of your platforms of choice, and yeah, that's the way you do it then. With that being said then, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. I know I jokingly said at the beginning of this video that nobody was like, I said I wouldn't talk about that, but it's like, I'm surprised like only 8% of you that watched the eShop video like were subscribed, and it's like usually it's like 10%. That's terrible. That's terrible. And I still get comments to this day saying you seem really entertaining. It's like, well, if that's the case, pay it forward and click the subscribe button. Like the video, share it around on the Reddits and all that fun stuff, whatever it may be. Go for it. Yeah, do it. Even though I haven't really been sharing these videos around besides with just like friends, I do wonder. It's nice that they take off though, because people are appreciating and enjoying everything I'm talking about. But yeah, with that being said, then here's to YouTube on the Switch 2 and Switch 3. It seems like with how Nintendo's doing things, and of course, don't forget to steel yourselves. Have a great rest of your night, daytime zone, everyone. Bye bye. Hey, so Mike Buzzing and Slate Stellar here because I don't really feel like fixing this right now because I literally, as in not laziness, I just don't feel great as I'm making this video. YouTube just doesn't, like people waiting a long time to get things done, and I do apologize if the video comes off a little repetitive in a sense. I do understand there's a couple things in there, but I just don't feel the greatest. In fact, talking right now hurts. So yeah, this is just kind of my end slate in here to say, hey, thanks for watching the video, really appreciate it, because I'm hoping this one takes off because of how much pain and suffering I've gone through to get this video done. It's not like it's anything amazing editing wise, it's more so just kind of a neat, cool idea because the eShop video took off, and I'm hoping this one does too. But yeah, if you like what I got in store, please subscribe. super comment, please. I'm not begging or anything. I'm just like, be appreciative for all the stuff that goes into this, because there's barely anything that, you know, tends to come back from this. But I don't think I'm doing YouTube forever. But anyways, I'm not going to talk for too much longer, as in I'm going to stop talking here now. But I'm hoping to get a lot more cool Nintendo obscure videos like this out there, more than just, you know, challenge videos that are barely in the sense. But with that being said, then once again, I do hope you have a great rest of your weekend or day if you're watching this not on a weekend, and yeah, take care.